Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome to my channel. If you are brand new, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm happy to have you. And if you love the content that we do here, please make sure you subscribe below and give this video a thumbs up. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. And thank you so much to my members who support me every day and help me do what I do on this channel. Okay. We need to talk because yesterday something very terrible happened in California. A helicopter carrying Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 other people crashed on the hillsides in Calabasas, California. The news has sent shockwaves, sort of tidal waves, all over the world as people are remembering Kobe and all of the people that were involved with this specific crash. As more and more information has been released, people are trying to figure out what could have caused this to have happened. And yesterday we listened to the audio, which had been provided to me through a pilot who had access to the airwaves. The audio has also been published elsewhere on CNN, and there's an actual website that's hosting the actual audio. And audio contained in the specific between the traffic control, air traffic control, and between air traffic control and the pilot indicated that he was flying under special privileges. Apparently, the fog was so dense that day that most other choppers in the area had been grounded. In fact, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department had grounded all of their choppers, and in order for them to fly, they had to receive special clearance through the air traffic control. Through air traffic control. Now, they were being guided due to extremely poor visibility conditions, and during the time, they were also waiting for another airline to land. They were about 20 miles away from their destination. Kobe, along with 8 others, were on their way to a basketball tournament for his daughter Gianna. They were joined by his second oldest daughter Gianna, Orange Coast College baseball coach John Altobello, his wife Carrie, and his daughter Alyssa, who was on Gianna's basketball team and a longtime friend of Gianna. And then Harbor Day School basketball coach Christina Mauser, Sarah Chester, and her daughter Peyton. Sarah Chester and her daughter Peyton Sarah Peyton was also friends with Kobe's, her daughter was friends with Kobe's friend Gianna. So it was parents, 3 parents, 2 other children, and the pilot that were on the plane, or that were on the let me just show you the conditions here. So this was a photo taken right around the time of the crash. You can see in the photo that the visibility was extremely poor. Witnesses that were interviewed by multiple outlets told the news that this had been the foggiest that they had remembered in years in the area. They also noted that they noticed that the chopper was flying extremely low prior to the crash, and then all of a sudden they heard the bang in the crash. So basically what happened was they were given a clearance called SVFR. It allows a pilot to fly in a weather condition worse than those allowed for standard visual flight rules. So a VFR would be standard visual flight rules. The pilot was trained to fly in fog. However, this had extremely poor visibility. Basically, the Burbank Airport Control Tower allowed the helicopter to proceed northeast following the Interstate 5 highway using the SVFR clearance. And then if you remember during the audio, they said maintain special VFR at or below 2500. That's what the pilot confirmed to the controller. And then later in the flight, when we listened to it yesterday, they said that he was flying too low. So the pilot asked for flight following, which is a service in which controllers are in regular contact with the aircraft. So clearly the pilot was concerned about the conditions and wanted to ensure that he had help flying to reach the airport. They were sort of stuck in limbo as they were waiting for another airline to land. And due to that, they had to circle a little bit prior to the crash. The controller was recorded telling the pilot, "2 Echo X-ray, you're still too low to fly for flight following at this time," which means that the helicopter was too low to be seen by an air traffic controller on radar. So not only was it really foggy, but apparently a hill may have not been seen by the pilot. The pilot, again, was given, he had all of the licensures to fly in this type of pilot, but in type of conditions, but other choppers weren't even going up in the air during this time because it was so foggy. And then because it's been so foggy and because of where the crash happened, it's kind of a logistical nightmare for them to actually retrieve, go through the wreckage and actually make the identifications and gather all of the bodies. So as you can see on the day of the crash, it was extremely foggy yesterday. There you can see how thick it was where he crashed. And these are all of the people that were on the plane with him. So there's John Altobello, Carrie Altobello, Alyssa Altobello, Sarah Chester, Peyton Chester, Ara Zobayan, which was the pilot, and Christina Mauser. And when Clark Canfield, he was actually interviewed by CBS in Los Angeles, he said, "It wasn't more than a few seconds after it flew over the top of us that we heard a bang and a pop. Then my wife said, 'Oh my gosh, there's a fire on the hills over there.'" The group, apparently everything happened in a matter of seconds. They heard the low flight coming in, and then the pop, the bang, and then there was a fire. Milliseconds is how another witness described it. The group was had been on their way to an afternoon game at Bryant's Mamba Sports Academy training facility in Thousand Oaks, where they were scheduled to play in a tournament. The helicopter took off from John Wayne Airport in Orange County at 9:06 a.m. The helicopter company released this following statement: "We extend our sincerest condolences to all of those affected by today's Sikorsky S-76B accident in Calabasas. We have been in contact with the NTSB and stand ready to provide assistance and support to the investigative authorities and our customer." They had been circling and waiting clearance for another plane. They plunged into a steep hillside at about 9:45 a.m. Sunday with the impact that scattered debris over an area the size of a football field. So the debris is so widespread. I had a better photo of the debris. If you can see the debris right there, let me see if I can grab a different photo. The debris is so widely spread, it's pretty, here. So that's what it looks like from the air. That was taken by CBS. CBS in Los Angeles. The crash occurred 20 miles from Mamba Sports, which is where they were playing, and he had, like I said, Ara Zobayan was an instrument-rated pilot and qualified to fly in fog, but the fog was so thick again and so widespread that the LAPD actually didn't allow their own choppers to go up in the air that morning. So who are the people that were involved in this? There was Kobe, obviously, one of the best basketball players in history. Gianna Bryant, who was his 13-year-old daughter. She went by Gigi, and she was the second oldest of his 4 daughters. He coached Gianna's AAU basketball team out of the Mamba Sports Academy training facility in Thousand Oaks, and he told multiple outlets that his daughter had aspirations to go pro. He talked about his desire and why he liked to use helicopters, because he wanted to spend more time with his kids, and he didn't like being stuck in traffic. John Altobelli, he was the head coach for the Orange Coast College in Costa Mesa. He also played for the University of Houston. His wife Carrie and his daughter Alyssa were also on board and died in the crash. Sarah Chester and her young daughter Peyton were also on board. And then Ara, obviously, were there as well. So those were the people that were identified. It appears the investigation is still ongoing. The coroner said it's going to be pretty difficult to retrieve and get through the extremely tough terrain to get there to go through all of the debris and collect everything that's there. And it might take some time before they actually make official confirmations of the individuals involved, but those were all the people that were on that flight. So that's what's going on. Foggy hills could have contributed to the crash. The authorities say that they are still investigating, and the country continues to mourn the tragic passing of Kobe Bryant, he led a kind of complicated legacy. Not only was he an incredible basketball player, but there was the allegation in 2005 or 6 where he was charged with the assault of a woman. The charges were later dropped, but she did bring a civil case against him, which was settled out of court. Many believed that he paid her off in order to have the charges dropped, and a lot of people have not forgotten about that specific case and that woman. However, people in Los Angeles still revered him and looked up to him as the greatest basketball player and a great citizen of the area. So that's all we've got for right now. If you have anything that you'd like to share or let me know in the comments below, and I'll be back later with more. Bye.